Happy Sunday, happy Easter, happy holy days for many folks all around the world. We are in the convergence of major holidays from several faith traditions. So not only is it Easter Sunday, but we are in the middle of Passover. So our Jewish community is currently celebrating Passover, recognizing the liberation of the Jewish people from slavery in Egypt. And we are also in the middle of Ramadan, where our Muslim community is fasting as a deep spiritual practice. And this honors when the Quran was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad. And today, Christians around the world are celebrating the resurrection of Jesus on this Easter Sunday. Also, culturally, folks in many parts of the world are celebrating springtime and Easter with visits from the Easter Bunny, Easter egg hunts. I know our little ones are going to be having a Easter egg hunt for affirmation-filled eggs and some candy and toys too, I'm sure. Springtime also brings with it the Easter bunny, Easter eggs, dyeing Easter eggs. Did anyone do that this year? No. We got to dye a few eggs, or Cadence did, rather. I didn't participate in that. But how about chocolate bunnies? Anyone eat any chocolate bunnies yet? Maybe still waiting for the Easter bunny to bring them to you. We do have some delicious German chocolate cake and carrot cake for you today after service. So don't worry. You're going to get your Easter treats today, too, yes. And, here in the South, often we celebrate with friends and family by eating lots of ham and casseroles, right? Anyone? I know that's something that my family of origin loves to do this time of year. My mom got to get her ham sometime today, so I'll make sure that happens. I see you, Mama. All right, and then, I love to look back at the origins of all of these different traditions, and the word Easter most likely actually comes from the Old English after the goddess Eostre, which means bringer of light. I love that. So this time of year, the days get longer. We get to relish in the sun and the light, as well as the spring being noticed all around us. So springtime for nature lovers, for pagans, is a time to acknowledge the newness of life. We see and honor these cycles of fertility and birth and rebirth and new life. We witness the buds of the plants and the trees and the flowers beginning to emerge from their protective shell and coming into life, springing back into a beautiful display of color for all of us to relish in this magnificent glory. For me, it's the first springtime in our new house, so getting to see what spring brings is so exciting. We have one of our neighbors has the beautiful rosebud tree. I believe that's what it is, pink. Red bud, thank you. And then, Colleen knows. And then my other neighbor I know has a Japanese maple. And then there's some, random flowers coming up front too. So it'll be fun to see. Oh, and the tulips too. All of this. So I love this time of year as it brings the excitement and the discovery, right, of what new is being birthed. So just as this is evidenced in nature, with the breaking open of the blooms and the blossoms, we also are being called to break open to a new understanding, a new way of being, and a renewed sense of life and what it means to live life to the fullest. The resurrection of Jesus represents this rebirth and a rising to a new level of consciousness and understanding of the everlasting life that is the truth of all of us. For we are all this energy, this unique essence that can never be created nor destroyed, for we are everlasting. So as we get to say goodbye to the cold nights, I think this week it really is going to start to warm up. I think we get to say goodbye to the cold nights of winter and follow that natural energy and rhythm of nature to experience that sense of renewal and rebirth and even a resurrection in our own awareness and consciousness, asking what is seeking to be renewed within me. What is seeking to break open into a new possibility, a new understanding in my life, as well as in our collective humanity. There is a shared energy that is occurring right now, especially with this convergence of all of these holy holidays, one of spiritual reflection, of renewal, of new possibility, and freedom. And yet, for any of these things to actually be actualized in our life, we must embrace vulnerability. So our theme this month is vulnerability, and we're looking at the work of Brené Brown to kind of guide us this month with the book, The Gifts of Imperfection. Anyone else just have a little struggle with perfectionism? I mean, the title itself, right? The Gift of Imperfection. So what would be possible? That in itself is a new awareness, a new consciousness. What would be possible to actually embrace imperfection as a possibility for something new to emerge? So if we take a look at Brené's definition, she says, vulnerability is a state of emotional exposure that comes with a certain degree of uncertainty. It involves a person's willingness to accept the emotional risk that comes from being open and willing to love and be loved. So we must be willing to break open, to break the shell of our own exterior, where perhaps we have hardened our heart, and to open, to take a look within our own interior worlds, and to love and embrace the wholeness of who we are, the messiness, the humanness. And then from that place of self-love, be willing to share and shine our light for all to see. To be open for the experience that is seeking to be renewed within us, that of change and transformation and growth and new possibility. One of our core concepts of the Science of Mind teaching is that of wholeness. So when we say wholeness, we don't just mean the things that we love, the things that we love about ourselves, right? We must include all experiences, all of who we are. Even those parts that we would rather hide and never find again. Those experiences in our lives that perhaps we would have rather not have had. But if we were to embrace it all, we are open to the messiness, the love, and all that lives in between, and the gifts that embracing who we are brings. So this wholeness is only possible, again, with vulnerability. Wholeness creates the container for us to step into and to live our most authentic lives. Not just our social media lives, but our bedhead, our sleepy eyes, and all in between. Because wholeness is big enough for all. It can hold it all seeming opposites. Wholeness embraces all. So this season is ripe for embracing our vulnerability and using it as a tool for growth and transformation, if we are willing. It's a time of new beginnings, new growth, and new possibilities. this all sounds good, yes, like, all right, let's do it, but something gets in our way. Otherwise, I wouldn't have to stand up here and talk about it for a whole month, right? If it came easy to us. So what gets in our way? Fear. Fear, right? Fear of what? Of being judged, fear of rejection, fear of not liking what we may see or what others may see. Fear of the unknown, fear of trying something new, fear of being hurt, fear of being seen as bad or wrong. And this fear quickly leads to shame and to blame. Because when we feel that shame, it doesn't feel good. And what do? We want to project it on others by blaming others. Just to move that energy. So, for some, individual and societal kind of constructs and systems may contribute to this fear and impact the opportunity to be vulnerable, which is why, as we talked about last month or so, that we must all come together to work for and to hold a vision for and to create a world that is safe for everyone to be vulnerable and to show up as their authentic selves. But what I'm talking about is that fear that lives within us, that is our own obstacle that stops us from fully shining our light. And although it may not be pleasant, fear can actually be a helpful emotion because it can point to and shed light on those areas of our life that perhaps we have hidden away, and invite us to take a look and to actually experience a healing and transformation so that there is no more shame hiding in these eggs that we have put away and not want to see again. Only when we look at it and can love and embrace those aspects of ourselves can we remove the shame from within our own being so that we can share all of who we are. And nothing outside of us can hurt us in that way when we do not feel that internalized shame about who we are, right? If someone says something to us, it will not stick and resonate by pressing those buttons of unworthiness if we do our work. And I'm not saying we just do this one time because it comes up over and over, but as we do this work of noticing those shame buttons, being vulnerable enough to actually feel our feelings about it, and then to explore and go deeper and to use our spiritual practices to transform and remember the truth of who we are so we can walk in this world fully confident, loving ourselves so much that nothing that anyone else can say or do can touch that. Brené Brown says, faith is a place of mystery where we find the courage to believe in what we cannot see and the strength to let go of uncertainty. So it takes this willingness to step out in faith and to move through the fear and the doubt and the uncertainty and be willing to embrace vulnerability in order to take that step towards our own liberation. To overcome our fear of being seen and to proudly and boldly live an authentic life. I'm going to share an excerpt, well, sure, she's an expert too, but an excerpt from the book Shameless by Nadia Bowles-Weber. She says, after the resurrection, Jesus presented his wounds to his grieving friends. John 20:20 says, Jesus came and stood among his disciples and said, peace be with you. Then he showed them his hands and his side. He did not try to hide the marks from the spears. He did not wear gloves to conceal his injured hands. He was shameless, like a middle-aged woman with stretch marks swimming in a two-piece. In the same way, Jesus was unashamed of his wounded body. He was also unafraid of the human bodies he encountered in his ministry. He never recoiled from disease or deformity. We've seen how he reached out his hand to touch the bodies of the lepers, the blind, the possessed, those who were physically wounded and spiritually and socially outcast. And he knew that in his resurrection, he would be known by his brokenness and his scars. And isn't it true for us as well? We can only really know and be known when we show how life has marked us. I never really feel a connection to someone until they have shared with me a lumpy, broken, or even petty parts of themselves. Our pain and failure, the things we so often try to hide, the things that create shame, the things that scar, are what give us texture. And without texture, there is nothing for others to connect to. So that was all her words. Just want to be clear on that. But what an interesting perspective and a way of embracing our wholeness without shame. So to embrace vulnerability, we get to become friends with uncertainty and friends with our scars and the wholeness and the messiness of our lives. And, it's simply human nature to love certainty, right? We want to have a plan and then a backup plan and then a backup plan for the backup plan so that we can know what is going to occur and just be in control. But this could go on and on and on because life seems to bring up endless opportunities for new things to step into the uncertainty of life. So the sooner we learn that to surrender, to trust, to allow, and to trust that there's something within us that will guide our path no matter what comes up, then the more willing we are to embrace the uncertainty of life. Uncertainty is a part of wholeness itself. We can choose to see it as a barrier or to open ourselves up, to meet uncertainty with curiosity, and then move in ways that are in alignment with the truth of who we are. We then may find that the cracks that begin to form through embracing uncertainty and wholeness often actually pave the way for us to point again to what is seeking to be renewed, what is seeking to be healed, what is seeking to be revealed. Pointing to that thing back of all things that is the truth of life itself. That is who we are. So this awareness opens the door and invites us to step through. Choosing to be vulnerable enough to express our authentic selves is not easy. However, the choice comes whether or not we allow ourselves to be limited by those experiences that attempt to stand in the way of us showing our true selves, or to be willing to face them and to move forward anyway. Rumi says, move, but do not move the way fear makes you move. Oh, I love that. So think about, how does fear make you move in life? I know for me, it's often like a reaction. It's a reaction, it's a defense, it's a wanting to try to protect or control, all of these ways that we try to control life. But what would it mean to move forward through fear, but don't move the way fear makes you move? So do we even know what that looks like and feels like in our own lives? To move forward through fear, but not the way fear would have us move. Instead, we get to ask, what would love do now? What would love say now? How would love show up now? What is seeking to be expressed through me? And allow love to be that guiding force. Allow love to move us through any uncertainty. And as we do this deep work of exploring those wounds and those places that are seeking to be revealed and healed and renewed and seen with a new light, we get to know that we are not doing this alone, because truly it is spirit within that does the work. Of ourselves, we need do nothing, but simply open up and allow spirit within to be the healer, love to be the healer. So this is the work, and this is the call to action this week. Understanding that fear and uncertainty are not things to be avoided or ignored or suppressed. Instead, their presence comes as a beacon, a call to look deeper into our lives and our community and our world, to see what is seeking to be known, healed, and transformed, and to keep moving forward with love in the direction of our dreams and our vision for a world that works for everyone and complete liberation for all. At its core, Easter is a celebration of renewal and rebirth, and reminds us that even in our darkest moments, we have the power to rise again, to make a new choice, to align with love and have spirit lead the way, to experience a new life. And this rebirth requires vulnerability, because we must be willing to look and to feel and to let go of those old ways of being that no longer serve us, to expose those vulnerable parts of us that we may not want to look at, and to allow our scars and all to bear witness to who we truly are, knowing that that is the wholeness of life. To step into this great mystery and uncertainty of life, trusting with faith that there is something within each of us guiding us, propelling us forward, allowing love to lead the way, removing the barriers to vulnerability, and truly embracing a life lived to the fullest, living out loud. Yes? All right, let's take a deep breath. We're going to anchor this truth right here, right now, by moving into this time of conscious practice of affirmative prayer, knowing and recognizing the one life that is love, that is peace, that is harmony, that is freedom, that is creativity. This one life that is moving in as and through all, that which some call God, Spirit, universe. Knowing that right here, right now, God is, love is, peace is, freedom is. And knowing that there is only one divine activity expressing right here, right now, I open and recognize that this is the truth of who I am. I am love. I am free. I am whole. Creativity is expressing in and as my life right here, right now. And as I speak this truth for myself, I speak it in the I that is the we, for we are one. And I invite you to take in this word and to allow the energy of and the vibration of this prayer to lift every cell of your being, your energetic body, your physical body, your spiritual body, your emotional body. Right here, right now, we allow love to infuse all of who we are. remembering and recognizing that truly it is Spirit within that does the work. So we open and allow love to lead the way, knowing that love is the healer. Love will have its way right here, right now. And that this love transforms, transmutes all, restoring all to wholeness, embracing all seeming opposites, transforming pain and shame into pure awareness, wholeness, love is who I am. And I am so grateful to know that right here, right now, God is I am, love is I am, peace is I am, freedom is I am. And I walk forward, moving through life with this assuredness that I am never alone. I open up to infinite possibilities of what is being stirred within me in this moment, knowing that in each and every moment I am made new. It is through the renewing of my mind that I step into living a life of freedom, of wholeness, of infinite possibility, claiming and knowing that this is who I am. I am backed by the infinite source of the universe for all that I desire. That desire is placed on my heart already fulfilled. That there's nothing I need to do outside of myself but simply remember who I am. So this day, I rise up to the truth of my own being and allow love to lead the way. I am free. I am whole. I am perfect. I am complete. Yes. And for this, I am grateful. So grateful for the fulfillment of this prayer as I release it into the action of the law that always says, yes, 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 my beloved, it is done. And it is so. And so it is.